Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 52. Well, since B-Ball released a preview video on the upcoming update, I think we will need to talk about that, which will very likely impact the future of this particular playthrough. Thankfully, we are in the middle of a pretty big construction project, so there will be a lot of dead air in this episode, where we are just waiting for stuff to happen as the new city gets built, so we can safely fill those moments with some of my thoughts on the update. But for now, let's just jump into the action, because there are a few housekeeping jobs I want to accomplish at the beginning. The first one is that I want to finish this road as soon as possible, so I put it on high priority, and told all available offices to focus on it. This road was the only thing stopping us from starting work on the town. Then there was this misaligned signal. Good thing I got back into the habit of making notes as I edit the episodes, so I didn't forget about it, like I normally do. Then there was the question of the fuel reserves. Having all those helicopters hovering over the construction hub is using a lot of the stuff, and I wanted to make sure we are not using more than we are making. The storage tank was looking pretty normal. The amount produced was staying steady, but then I remembered that of course it's like that, we are selling the excess. Instead, let's look at the consumption. That was showing a more interesting picture. There is a noticeable increase in the amount used since those helicopters were bought, but not nearly as big as I expected. I forgot to check the amount sold, but I suspect it will show that we are still selling the stuff. Anyway, the next point on the agenda was the train lengths in the distribution offices. I wanted to make sure they can only assemble trains that are below 150 meters. Most of our infrastructure is built around that length, so let's stick to it. And then there was the question of our gravel stockpile. We managed to chew through our reserves rather quickly, so it was time to increase the production. For now, I only added 2 more quarries, since that's all we had room for. Small spoiler warning, that's not the last time we will come back to this issue today. I knew we will need 2 dumpers each, so might as well buy them now, so they are ready to go as soon as the quarries are built. And then there was the issue of the slow buses. The ones used in our construction industry were only capable of going at 85 kilometers per hour. Thankfully, the S2E52 had a speed of 100, a big enough upgrade that makes the change worth the investment. And something weird happened here. Adding those extra roads here must have caused some confusion in the pathfinding, since this kind of blockage never happened before. Resetting some of the dumpers fixed it though, so it wasn't a big deal. Might as well set the quarries to high priority, just to ensure a better gravel supply. I also floated the idea of calling the new track layer, Aurora. That's the only name I could think of, that fits into the celestial naming convention we arrived at for these guys, and was related to the color green. And that ramp is now finished. We can at long last start working on the city itself. It's been a long time coming. Of course, we can only reach the outermost roads at the moment, but it's a good start. It seems the next 2 bridges on the farm branch finished building the main structure. Only the tracks and catenaries remain to be built. I really want to knock out the farm connection as soon as possible, so let's just give the remaining stuff high priority. Nice, the new quarries are almost done. One of them is ready to come online already, and the other one isn't too far behind. While that one is getting built, let's quickly take care of the one that is already good to go. And that's about it. We can just keep adding new quarries until we reach the point where the processing plant can no longer accept any more traffic. Okay, this bus is on the other side of the Republic. Let's just give it a nudge, so we can finish building the quarry faster. And only the bridge is left to gain road access to the new farm. With this high priority, it will be finished in no time. This second quarry is only waiting for workers, so let's just follow the bus that has them on board. I suppose this is as good a time as any to talk about the upcoming update. I remember that when the water update was being showcased, I wasn't really sure I would end up liking it. I did like the system in principle, but wasn't sure I liked the way the pipes were utilized. And when it came out, I ended up not being a fan, and as you can see, we are not using the water and sewage system in this playthrough, since it just isn't fun for me. But looking at the new additions in the upcoming update, I do like it. The garbage system alone would have been enough for me, but piling the research and the new farming systems on top, I cannot wait. Especially the research. Right now, we have a game that piles a lot of systems on you right from the start, but it also allows you to do things in a more convenient fashion if necessary, only it will be more expensive to do so. For example, you can buy food, or make it. Making it yourself is much cheaper, but more complex, while buying it is more expensive, but way easier to do. If I got the gist of the new research system, then it will force you to do things the way that is easier, but more expensive early on, and gradually open up systems that will let you become self-sufficient. Gating some of the more in-depth systems behind the research tree is a good way to help people ease their way into the more complicated systems. And then there's the farming. It seems to be tied to the garbage system, since we can make one of the fertilizers from bio-waste. I've been hoping the farming would be expanded, and I feel this is a great way of doing it. I don't know how the different tractor attachments will be handled though, I just hope they won't require their own parking spot in the agro-farm building. If that was the case, I don't think even the biggest building would be enough to serve the usual 18 or 19 field big farming complex. But the actual release is still far away, the update is still in internal testing for a couple more weeks, and after that, we can expect a couple more for public testing. I'm sure they will hammer out the balance, like they always do. And this brings us to the question of this particular playthrough. I feel as if these changes are too big to retrofit it to handle all these systems. With the new farm, we might be able to handle the food production required to keep the cities alive, but I am not convinced that we can retrofit everything we have to include the new waste system. Not to mention the research. I can still clearly remember how much I struggled to add water and sewage to the previous season, and the frustration coming out of those attempts was a big contributor to feeling burned out on that series. So, let's not make the same mistake again. By the way, I decided to buy the latest boxcar wagon to replace the ones in the rail distribution office, in case you're wondering what's going on in the game. But going back to the question of this series, I decided to finish building the new city, set it up to make it work without needing any more input from me, and then I will call the series finished. Thankfully, we have a lot of time to accomplish this, so we are likely able to add some extra industries around it, so it's not just a pointless citizen storage device. But don't be surprised if the series will come to an abrupt end somewhere around the time the new update leaves the testing phase. Then, I will likely spend some time testing out the new features, making sure I get a handle on them before I start Season 3, and honestly speaking, I am kind of relieved. I think it was a mistake starting the Republic in this isolated little area. This made building the next phase of expansion very time-consuming, and we ended up accomplishing barely anything big. Even if we take the shorter episode lengths into account, I feel as if we were way more self-sufficient at this point in the last series. If we started in a more open area, I think our progress could have been faster. So I think the next map we use will likely be a bit more forgiving. But I can only repeat myself. This particular series still has life in it. I will not stop it until the new update is close to finished, so we have plenty of time to finish the current projects. But I do feel that all the new systems being added does necessitate a restart. And to be honest, I am kind of glad about it. I always preferred the early struggles of a Republic. Once things get big, I tend to lose interest. I am looking forward to a fresh start. But enough babbling, let's get back to the matters at hand. As you can see, we are still moving the new boxcars to the distribution office. Since we bought 12 of them, we couldn't do it in one go, so it takes a couple trips to finish all of it. Okay, one more go to pick up the last 2 cars, and it's done. I did consider buying some extra wagons for the other cargo types, but I think we have enough for now. Here, I decided to go ahead and build some of the fences we placed along the rail tracks. Now that we have helicopters, might as well do them properly. I completely forgot about these after all this time, and I might revisit them before the series is over, but no promises. What was a bit disheartening was that not all of them were reachable by helicopters. I'm fairly sure that if we got rid of the trees and bushes, then they would be able to land, but there was no way I would go through the whole process of planting them again, just for these barely noticeable fences. I still don't like the vanilla paint job for these wagons. Let's just stick to using the mod skins. Nice. The steel structure of the road bridge toward the farm is almost complete. After that, it's just a bit of asphalt on top, and we can start using road vehicles to build the rest of the farming infrastructure. I think buying these buses paid off. They are able to reach the bridge with barely going over the 5-hour mark on travel time, so I'm fairly certain that they will be able to help out with the farm too. And the main structure is done. Only the paving is left, and with the high priority, it shouldn't take too long. I see a distinct lack of progress on the railroad connection though. I wonder what's holding things up. It seemed to be the lack of gravel. I doubted that the open storage was interfering with the aggregate storage space in any way, but I still tested it by removing the overflow. Yep, no vehicles incoming. Let's check the office responsible. We have gravel on site, and the dumpers are sitting still. Then I realized that I just recently added that outside open storage to the office, and then I got rid of all the deliveries going straight to the main building. That included the gravel and the components. Let's just add those back in, and just limit the deliveries to those two goods. And things are moving again. Good, railroad construction is good to go once more. While that very long road segment will take a while to finish, the other one got built in the meantime. We can start upgrading the other lane on that one. Sure, the paving is almost done, but the roller will take a while to go over it twice. And splitting the attention of the construction offices does slow things down a bit. No surprises there, we've come to expect these kinds of things by now. But hey, we have a lot of gravel waiting to be used on the roads in the new city already, so it's just a matter of freeing up some of the bulldozers to do the job. Wait. Zero asphalt on the helicopter? Something's fishy going on here. Yep, it's the gravel again. We keep using a lot of the stuff, so guess what time it is? Yep, time to add more quarries into the mix. The thing is, we already used the available space we carved out earlier. I guess it's time to make more room. It's a bit hard to get a yellow ghost image with things crammed together this tightly. Let's see what we can do about it. We need a bulldozer, and all of them are busy doing stuff. Let's just call one home and do this while paused. Okay, that's all we needed. We can now use a bigger building to start leveling things. Let's see how far we can go by adding 2 more quarries. Okay, that's enough room. Things are a bit tight, not gonna lie. And now we wait again. It's the same process we did before: build the quarries, set up the deliveries, and live happily ever after. Nice. Paving the bridge is about halfway done. We can easily finish this construction before the episode is over. And we have the roller on that long highway already. Even with workers on site, this will take some time to finish, but at this point I saw no reason to break the construction into smaller segments. But hey, at least the town streets are progressing nicely, despite the construction industry being spread all over the place. Some of the gravel are done already, and things are ready to be paved over. Just my luck. As soon as the construction bus arrives to the station, there are only 2 people waiting there. But hey, at least the unemployment issues are taken care of. This has been bothering me for a while now. I did restore the soil on parts of these fields, so I did want to quickly try to make it match the other ones if I could, preferably without destroying any trees or bushes. Well, we did have some collateral damage, but nothing major. I think I will deal with the other fields at the end of the episode. But for now, how about we go over the gaps between the fields once more, but this time with some of the other tree types. We already have a lot of bushes and beech trees, but I bet we can squeeze in some more. Okay, I think only some acacia trees are left to do. And now we wait. In the meantime, the bridge finished paving, and is now waiting for the roller for the last phase. Sadly, it got one allocated from Kirkimov, so it will take a bit to get started. Since the tracks on the farm branch are already set to high priority, there is no reason to only have one segment active around the new town. We can add all the available segments back into the queue, and the priorities will sort things out for us. And here comes the roller. Soon we will have road access to the farms. Finally, the new quarries are coming online. Time to sort them out. Only one more to go. And that should do it. We have 7 quarries working almost 24/7, only needing to stop for the excavators to refuel occasionally, but we have a gas station right next door, so those pauses don't take too long. I wanted to check if the other 2 we added recently made any difference, but it's really hard to judge, since the graphs are updated a bit too often, so we get a lot of spikes, instead of a nice, readable line. But looking at the relevant time interval, I think I saw some increase, so that was a good sign. But while we were busy messing with the gravel industry, the farm bridge got completed. Time to unleash the entire construction industry on the farm. The biggest issue are the building driveways. They are too short for machinery to work on, and for helicopters to land. Those will have to be done by workers, and I think with the new buses, we might be able to reach them in time. But even if we are not, there is a potential workaround for it. We have a bus stop in the new construction hub, which is in walking distance from the helipad. If necessary, we can just build a bus office there, bring in workers by helicopters, and send any excess arrivals to that bus stop to be picked up. That can cut down on the travel time enough to allow the workers to reach all the relevant sites. Anyways, work is also progressing nicely in the town. Some of the roads are already complete, and once the work on the farm is done, all the attention will turn toward this place, speeding things up quite a bit. I even gave one of the streets going over the central rail tracks to high priority, so we can gain access to the other side faster. And hey, that long highway segment just got finished, so it was time to add the other lane to the construction queue. This time, I will likely end up breaking it into smaller segments. Waiting out that other one was a bit torturous. It's really nice to see road vehicles running around the farm construction sites. This will speed things up quite a bit. And this is where I decided to deal with the rest of the lopsided farm fields. To speed it up, I decided to just use the big textures, but to prevent the bug that makes them permanent, I made sure to save before we committed to anything. Well, I think we managed to get away with it. You know, I really wish there was a mass priority designate tool for constructions. Telling the offices to focus on these driveways would be kind of neat, but doing them one by one would be a bit tedious. Anyways, I think this is it for today. In the next episode, we are likely going to keep on focusing down the farm construction. And if we manage to finish the buildings, then we can get started on setting it up, including the vehicles, field assignments, etc. Once we have some harvest to play with, I will likely start setting up a food factory complex somewhere near the new city. But that's about it. I really don't want to do any big industrial projects before the city is good to go. Let's try to keep things manageable. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then leaving a like and subscribing to the channel just might motivate me to make more. If you are more in the donating mood, you can find a link to my Ko-fi page in the description, where you can buy me a glass of water. I don't really drink coffee. Thank you for your support, and until next time, I will see you later.